Hey, this is Jessica, and I wanted to talk about bettas today. This is my new one, Snowy. He's so pretty, at least he is to me. And I just wanted to talk about myths surrounding bettas and everything else, and some things that make me angry when I see it online. You often find bettas in little cups, at the stores, but then people think that's suitable to keep them in when they bring them home. That really bothers me, because why would you keep a fish in a cup or something that's like a quarter of a gallon? Those are the sizes of usually those cubes that you see in stores with the bettas that they try to sell you with them. Even the requirement of 2.5 gallons, some people say that's the minimum. Me personally, I wouldn't keep a betta in anything smaller than 5 gallon, which is what this tank is. And I'm not going to argue with people who are going to make comments and say, they got their fish in 2.5 gallon, blah, 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 blah. Don't care, this is my personal preference. A lot of people agree with it, that 5 gallons is the minimum. Just like if you have a 10-gallon tank, you can split that up in two, but no more. You can split up a bigger tank, you can do split up a 20 3 ways. Mind you, if you do that, you'd probably want a 20 long, not a 20 tall. Another myth is the heater. They need heaters. They're tropical fish. So unless you, I'm sure, I'm Canadian, so I guess if you live in Florida or something, you could probably get away with not having a heater, I'm planning on keeping the heater in here the whole time. I don't even see it on a lot. It usually comes on. It keeps the temperature stable for night, because with the hood light on, it stays pretty warm. Right now it's 79. And this heater is supposed to keep the tank at 78, at the lowest. So it does do its job. I have both of my tanks have the same heater. It's the Tetra 50-watt heater. And that's another thing about smaller tanks. You can't usually put a heater in them. And if they're acrylic, I don't know how good it is to put something hot into something that's plastic. I don't know if it can melt the tank. I've seen people do it, and it's fine. I guess you'd have to get a really low wattage heater. This heater, I don't think I'd want to put in a very small plastic tank. It's 50 watts. Another thing is the filter. I'd rather see a betta at least with a heater and not have a filter than the other way around. Have a filter and not have a heater. A lot of people say bettas don't need filters. All fish should have a filter if you think about it. Just because they can breathe air from the water line doesn't mean that's not the only way they get the air from. They mainly get the air from the oxygen that has dissolved in the water. So they do need clean water. Sorry about the glare. My flash is glaring off the glass. Second of all, the filter allows you to establish beneficial bacteria. So you can have a cycled tank. Now he's flaring. Having a cycled tank is way better to me than having a smaller tank that's not cycled. When you don't have a cycled tank, you need to do 100% water changes, 3 times a week, which means you're scrubbing, taking out the gravel, rinsing it all out. Sounds like a pain in the butt to me. I don't want to do that. I just did water changes on all the fish yesterday, even this one. Even though I haven't had Snowy for long, he got a pretty good, something like 40% water change. That's also because it is a new tank. And I don't really have to cycle this one because I did seed the filter, but I still added this. You can use this to help you start a cycle. I find it's helping with all my tanks. This is the first filter I actually was able to seed these filters, so that's good. Seeding a filter, which means you're just taking older filter floss from an established tank that has a cycle, and you're putting it into your new tank. Because that's basically you don't need to cycle the tank then, since you've got that established filter floss. It's done it for you. So I did that. And as I was saying, I think I skipped a few things. When you have the established filter. You only have to do water changes once a week. And then you're not taking out everything out of the tank. You know, maybe twice a month or once a month, depending if you can push it. You might want to take out your fake plants, if you have fake plants, and, you know, run them underwater to take off if they get slimy. I find anything that gets slimy, I do want to, you know, clean off the slime. Just like that, or any ornaments. I have the log. That will probably get slimy within time. Mind you, my other heater in Frankie's got slimy, so I had to clean that off. Just like the filter, you want to take out, clean off the filter media. But it's still easier to do than doing 100% water changes on a small tank at least 2 times a week. Probably 3 if you want a healthy fish. Bettas are known to have like fin issues, like fin rot, or even if your betta bites his fins. I haven't seen that, thankfully. Some bettas will bite their own fins. They need clean water to heal from that. You don't need to put all the medication in the tanks that you can find. Yes, you can find medications, but you really don't need them to cure fin rot. And all you have to do is keep up the water changes daily if that happens. Maybe put a little bit of aquarium salt in. Not a lot. Bettas aren't like other fish. They don't take well to salt as much as, like, let's say goldfish. So having clean water can help with a lot of illnesses instead of using medications. Bettas love live plants, so the bigger the tank, the better for that. You know, one of the myths is that they like small tanks is because big tanks scare them. Big tanks don't really scare them, they just need a lot of coverage. They need hides. That's why I added this. I don't think he's gone in it. I think he is not that scared. He's alone in this tank. If he had maybe tank mates, he'd, you know, need the cover. So they need hides. He has the log he loves. I have fake plants in here. That one that's really bushy, which he loves to swim through. This one is just there. The moss ball's in the back there. I did a water change and it moved over and I forgot about it. Usually I have it sitting in the middle. I could even probably add more plants, but he swims around all the time. He's in the plant right now. So that's one of the myths of why they need small water, or just like they live in puddles. They don't live in puddles. They live in Thailand in like rice fields. And what happens is in Thailand during their dry season, part of the water will, like a lot of the water will evaporate, and they might end up in like a puddle type situation. It's not ideally what they like to live in. It's just that their environment evaporated on them, and now they're stuck in this puddle, which is why they have, you know, the lung that they can breathe air from, and which is why they're hardy. But they also jump, and they can jump from puddle to reach back into like the main part of water. So you have to have a hood on your tank. That is jump all the time. I see it on forums all the time that someone came home and their poor bettas on the ground. Sometimes you can, depending on how long they've been out of the water, you can put them back in the water and they might survive. They'll have some fin damage, of course, from drying out. Trying to think here, what's another myth? I think those are the main things that anger people. Especially when I see people on YouTube. Usually they're younger people who have their betta in like not even a gallon of water. You know, you should have the filter. You should definitely have the heater. You know, they're lovely fish. Why would you want to, you know, stunt their lifespan? And they're not as aggressive as you think in the wild. The domestic ones are like they've been bred, unfortunately, for their aggressiveness. And in the wild, they don't need to be as aggressive because one of the fish would back down and then swim away. But yes, in an aquarium setup, one of the fish can't swim away if you have 2 in one tank. That's why you have to keep them separate. Which is why, you know, people at fish stores, unfortunately, put them in these little cups to sell them. Because at a fish store they can't have, you know, 5-gallon aquariums for each one of their bettas. I kind of understand that. It's just unfortunate. So here is Snowy. Yep. And that is my cat. I will show you Frankie since we haven't been showing him much. I wasn't moving my goldfish to have both bettas together. There's Frankie. As you can see, he has the same heater, same filter. He has 2 nubia plants though. I want to get one for Snowy, it's gonna take time. He's my dark one. He looks lighter in person though. He's like a blue-green, and then green fins, which turn to red, and at the tips they're blue again. He has this big pot that he can swim through. There's a hole on top, big hole in front, hole at the back. He has gone into it before. He hasn't really paid much attention to it anymore. And he has this big plant at the back. I've seen him sleep in. He's not much fond of the Betta leaf, so I don't know, I might get rid of it. I might get him the log, because I like that floating log. All of my tanks have marimo balls, because I like them. I find the Aqua Clear 20, which is the smallest Aqua Clear filter, the best one for bettas. You know, a lot of people will say that's a way overpowered filter. It's not if you have it on the lowest setting. I'll show you. All you gotta do is move that. That's low, that's high. Which, to be honest, I could leave it on high. Frankie does not mind the flow. Some bettas are more sensitive than others. So that's on high, and it's still not really moving the water too much. But I usually put it on low anyways. They don't produce too much waste. It's not like a goldfish. They don't need like an air stone. Because the air stone will move too much water for them. That water movement will provide enough oxygen. I think he's showing off. You can get smaller filters. There's, you know, tetra filters that are really small. The only bad thing about those filters is it's hard to establish, you know, the beneficial bacteria, because it doesn't come with like a bio spot. Like on Aqua Clears, they're called Biomax, and it is this on top. That's where all the beneficial bacteria grow. Tetra filters, at least the smaller ones, just run on the cartridge, which means after a month when you have to throw out the cartridge, you're throwing out your cycle. That's why I don't like those filters, and I'm not going to ever use a Tetra filter again. I love the Aqua Clears. It's also why I don't like smaller tanks. Like, I did try to buy a smaller, like I was going to get a 3-gallon for Snowy, but it was acrylic. And I ended up just changing my mind because I couldn't put what I wanted in it. I find that's a drawback with the smaller tanks, especially the acrylic. I didn't know if the heater would, I don't know, do something really bad in an acrylic tank. I didn't want the Tetra 3i filter because I know it doesn't work that well. I know I've seen some people on YouTube who've created like their own biological filter, which is awesome. Sponge filters work really good. Sponge filter runs on airline tubing. You'd have to get a pump and airline tubing. And usually Betta's actually like resting on the sponge. But I find the Aqua Clear perfect. And the only thing I have to change monthly is the carbon. You don't even need to have carbon in your filters. I just like having it. So this video is getting quite long now, and there's my rant about my bettas. I also am going to post a link to the myth site that I found recently about bettas. And I'm also going to post a link to SmallPetHaven. She has, I think, 17 bettas, maybe 16, because I think she recently lost one, which I'm sorry about. But I want to see all her bettas. I told her I want to see all 17 of them. And she said she would do it, but I don't know when. I'm sure that will be actually more than one video for her, because she has a lot of bettas. She has like a betta rescue. She has a lot of other animals also. And you should go check her channel out. I'll post a link down, because she has guinea pigs, just got rats. I think she might still have a rabbit, I'm not sure. A lot of animals. Her room's full of animals. So go check her out, and maybe she'll make more videos. She's made a whole bunch recently, and so that's good. But I want to see your bettas. I'm sure she'll laugh at this. And thanks for watching. And you can have Frankie dancing for you on the way out. Bye bye.